So I just finished reading the first deluxe edition for Berserk. Let's talk about it. Hey, how's it going, guys? Blue Tempest here, and welcome to another installment of my series, The 3-Volume Rule. If you're new to my channel and don't know what the 3-volume rule is, it's basically a saying in the manga community that I completely abide by, and what it means is that if you aren't hooked on a series by the end of the 3rd volume, then you need to drop it. So for this installment of the 3-volume rule, I'm going to be talking about the legendary dark fantasy manga Berserk. Now, before I get into my thoughts and feelings on Berserk, I do want to honor the unfortunate passing of Kentaro Miura, the mangaka behind Berserk. As someone who is just now recently getting into reading manga, I hadn't experienced any of Kentaro Miura's works before he passed away. I did already own the first 2 deluxe editions of Berserk because obviously it is a legendary series and I was looking forward to getting into it. So after Kentaro Miura passed, I put Berserk at the front of my priorities list for reading because I definitely have to experience this masterwork of a manga. That is undoubtedly one of the most influential manga series to ever been written. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I was a huge fan of Kentaro Miura before his passing, but there is no denying that he made a huge impact in the manga community and even outside of the manga community in different forms of media and art, such as video games, TV shows, books, you name it. Kentaro Miura has definitely made a mark on the world with his works and his artwork. I myself am a huge fan of fantasy-based media. 2 of my favorite video game series of all time are the Legend of Zelda series and the Fire Emblem series, which even just from the first 3 volumes, I can tell that Berserk definitely influenced both of those series in some way. And so because of Kentaro Miura's passing, I wasn't sure if I was gonna do this video, even though I was planning on doing it before his passing. But honestly, after reading the first deluxe edition of Berserk, I feel like I would have been making a huge disservice to him by not spreading the word and talking about this fantastic series. So yeah, now getting into my thoughts on Berserk, if it isn't already obvious, I really loved this first deluxe edition. I am pretty much going into the series completely blind. Obviously, I have heard a lot of hype and praise about it in the past, and even before I was a fan of manga, I knew that it was a legendary series and that the 1997 anime is also a legendary anime series that has been sitting on my list to watch for years. But I am really glad that I'm getting into the manga because it is considered by many to be one of the best manga series of all time. So yeah, I definitely wanted to experience it for myself. And getting into it, the first thing that I noticed, obviously, is the thing that I noticed first when reading any manga series, and that is the artwork. Now, I don't want to talk about the reading experience as far as the physical book when it comes to these 3-volume rule videos, but honestly, I cannot go through this video without mentioning that these deluxe editions make for an amazing reading experience. Seeing Kentaro Miura's artwork in its full glory with oversized pages and a premium leather hardcover with quite possibly the nicest paper quality that I have experienced in manga yet, the physical reading experience of Berserk definitely enhanced it a lot for me. So getting into the artwork, honestly, I was blown away. I was honestly in shock multiple times reading this manga just because of how beautiful and detailed the artwork is. There were points when I was reading it that I had to stop at a certain panel and just take in all of the details. Like I said, I am genuinely super impressed with the artwork in this series, and I can't believe that this is just the beginning of a series that spans 40 volumes. So it's safe to say that I'm sure Kintaro's artwork will improve over time, which honestly is just crazy to think about, like how could it get any better? But I am definitely looking forward to see that progression over time. And then getting into my thoughts on the story of Berserk. So just to give a little background without spoiling, so far in the first volume, you meet the character of Guts, who has been given the moniker of the Black Swordsman by many characters in this medieval-inspired fantasy world. And we meet a character named Puck, who is a small elf who starts following Guts on his journeys throughout the lands. And yeah, it kind of starts out with Guts basically just pulling up and destroying people. Like, this dude is savage. He is unrelenting and is just insanely destructive when he's on the spot. From the beginning, you get a sense that nobody can stand up to Guts because he will literally slice them in half with one swing of his giant sword. So yeah, this series is definitely not intended for younger audiences, and it's not even just because of all of the violence. There are some crazy and messed up things that happen in the first 3 volumes of Berserk that I don't want to really get into. But yeah, the action and fight scenes in this series are done super well. And like I did say before, it does help that I'm reading it on the deluxe edition, with all of the action being blown up in a larger format, so I can really immerse myself in all of the action that's going on. And yeah, the first volume's worth of content that I read sees Guts basically getting into situations where he does have to fight. And Guts as a character isn't really the most likable guy in the beginning. And honestly, even throughout the first 3 volumes, that really doesn't change. But you do get to see a glimpse of why Guts is the way he is. There's definitely a lot of mystery surrounding his character and what he has been through in the past. And so the first 3 volumes basically make up the entirety of the first arc of the series, which is titled the Black Swordsman arc. And in the climax of this arc, you see Guts get into a situation where he has to fight this really disgusting monster. And yeah, I don't want to spoil everything that is going on with the story, but yeah, while in the beginning Guts is completely destroying everyone in his path, when he does fight this monster, he definitely finds a suitable match for him, as it is a very life-threatening situation for him, where we do get to see some development in his character, although there is still a lot of questions that are unanswered. But yeah, the Black Swordsman arc definitely feels kind of like a prologue to this entire series, which it obviously is. And the final chapter of the 3rd volume contains the beginning of the next arc, which is the Golden Age arc. And in that chapter, we do get a glimpse into why Guts became the character that he is in the Black Swordsman arc. So I'm really looking forward to see where the story goes from here. I have heard a lot of good things about the Golden Age arc. A lot of people do consider it to be one of the greatest manga arcs to be written, so I'm definitely excited to experience it for myself. And yeah, by the end of the first deluxe edition of Berserk, I'm definitely hooked. I can't wait to see where the story goes from here. It's honestly crazy to think that this series is 40 volumes long, because honestly, even though the Black Swordsman arc felt like a prologue, it still felt like watching a movie for me. A lot of stuff happens, but at the same time, it feels like I'm only scratching the surface of the story. So honestly, my consensus on Berserk is that it is fantastic. I am literally going to start binging the next volume of Berserk right when I finish recording this video. So if that doesn't tell you what my thoughts on Berserk are, then I don't know what to tell you. So if you haven't gotten into the series yet, I highly recommend it. So far from this first deluxe edition, which does contain the first 3 volumes, I can definitely see why Berserk is beloved by many manga readers and why it's so hyped up in the community. And yeah, if this series interests you in any way, I do highly recommend you checking it out. Like I did say before in the video, it's definitely targeted towards a more mature audience. So if you are okay with a lot of gore and other crazy messed up things going on, yeah, definitely check this series out. Berserk is a legendary series for a reason, and I am so glad that I finally took the plunge into reading it. Alright guys, so that pretty much does it for this installment of the 3-volume rule. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did enjoy it, please remember to leave a like on the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you do enjoy my content, consider hitting the notification bell so you can get notified every time I upload a brand new video, and make sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. The links are in the description to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Definitely check out my TikTok if you do want to see some kind of funny manga related content. But yeah, if you are a fan of Berserk or haven't read it at all, definitely sound off in the comments and let me know if you guys have read this series or if you're planning to. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.